Now we're going to look at solving systems of equations, or solving a system of equations. When we do this, what we're looking for is a XY pair that will solve both equations given. And for our purposes, we're only going to look at solving an equation by using substitution or by using addition. With using substitution, one of the equations will usually lend itself to easily plugging into the other one. In other words, look at these two equations. On the second one it says y equals 2x plus 3. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 2x plus 3 in for y in the other equation. I think I may type this because it might be easier. Let me see if it'll let me type here. And come over here and I'm going to set it up here. So let me see if I can make my typing bigger here. So what I have is I'm going to have 3, I'm going to have 3x. Let me see if I can put my cursor up here. I'm going to make this larger so we can see it. I'm going to have 3x minus 2 times 2x plus 3, because you see, I'll get back to my drawing here in just a second. 2x plus 3, I'm plugging that 2x plus 3 in for y in the above equation, equals 5. And then when I distribute, I get 3x minus 4x minus 6 equals 5. Oh shoot, they're trying to do that for me. Equals 5. And then I'm going to get 3x minus 4x is a negative x minus 6 equals 5. Oh, it's still wanting to do that. Equals 5. And then I'm going to add 6 to both. Let me get the pen back out here. So I'm to this point. It's going to be easier because Microsoft wants to solve equations for you. It's kind of cool. All right, so notice I plugged in 2x plus 3 for that y in the first equation. Here it is. Then I distributed. Negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x. Negative 2 times a positive 3 is negative 6. 3x minus 4x is a negative x. Negative x minus 6 equals 5, so I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And I get negative x equals positive 11. Divide or multiply both sides by negative 1. You're just going to get x equals negative 11. Once I solve for either x or y, I plug the value in for that variable into either one of the equations. I'm going to pick the second one, y equals 2. So I'm going to plug in negative 11 for x plus 3. I get negative 22 plus 3 equals negative 19. So my answer is the ordered pair where x equals negative 11 and y equals negative 19. I will say there are lots of great examples on the PowerPoints for this section, but what that is saying is the point negative 11, negative 19 solves both of these equations. You can plug it in and tell. Put a negative 11 in for x. You get negative 22 plus 3 is negative 19. In the top one, put a negative 11 in for 3. 3 times negative 11 is negative 33. Minus 2 times negative 19 is plus 38. Does that equal 5? Yes, 5 equals 5. So I can easily check that. It is an ordered pair that works for both. Let's look at another one of these. On this one, I had to change that value there. It originally said -7, but that is a -9. So I'm going to plug in a y of -3 x plus 6 for the y above. So I get x plus 4 times -3x plus 6 equals -9. I'm going to distribute x minus 12x plus, whoops, got a stray mark, plus 4 times 6 is 24 equals -9. Don't forget, I've got to multiply 4 times -3x and 4 times 6. X minus 12x is -11x plus 24 equals -9. Subtract 24 from both sides. I get -11x equals -33. Divide both sides by -11. These cancel out. X equals -33 over -11. That is a +3. So I know my x value is 3. Now I'm just going to plug it into that second equation and see what y is. Y equals -3 times +3 plus 6. -3 times +3 is -9 plus 6 equals -3. So my answer is +3, -3. Plug it in the other one, see if it works. 3 plus 4 times -3 is -9. Yep, it works. So my answer is 3, -3. There's a couple of examples using substitution method. Let's look at using the addition method. It's really easier. With the addition method, you're actually saying, okay, is there any way I can add these two equations together and eliminate one of the variables? One of the easiest giveaways on this is if I've got a plus and a minus. Look at this. This is using the addition method. I can just add those two equations together. 3x plus 2x is 5x. Plus y minus y is no y. So I eliminated one of the variables by adding those together. And then finally, 5 plus 15 is 20. Solve for x. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. X equals 20 divided by 5, which is 4. Now, that's just my x value. I've got to plug in and find a y value for either one of those. I'm going to use the first one. 3 times 4 plus y equals 5. 12 plus y equals 5. Subtract 12. Subtract 12. I get y equals -7. Let's make a prettier 7. Is that right? 5 minus 12? Yeah. All right. These went away. So my answer is 4, -7. You say, well, Brent, can I check that? Yeah. Try it in this second equation. 2 times 4 is 8 minus a -7, which is 8 plus 7, which is 15. Works for that. On the first one, 3 times 4 is 12. Minus 7 is 5. Works for that. So that ordered pair works for both of those equations. Remember, that's what we're doing. We're finding the ordered pair that works for both equations. Now, in this last one, we're going to use the addition method also, but it's going to require just a little bit more manipulation. I'm going to have to multiply here by a value. I think, let's look at this. X plus 2y equals 25, and -7x plus 2y equals -31. To use the addition method, I could solve this in two different ways. I could multiply the first equation by 7 and add it to the second one, and my x's would go away. Or I could multiply either equation by -1 and my y's would go away, and that will be easier. Let's look at this. I'm going to come over here and you'll see what I'm talking about. X plus 2y equals 25, and x is -7x plus 2y equals -31. Alright? I'd pay real close attention to this. I'm going to multiply this equation by -1. -1 times x gives me -x. -1 times positive 2y gives me -2y. -1 times positive 25 gives me -25. Now I'm going to add that to my second equation. -x plus -7x is -8x. You see why I multiply it by -1 now. -2y plus 2y gives me 0y, so it's no longer in the equation. -25 plus -31 is -56. Now I can just divide both sides by -8. -8. These go away. X equals -56 divided by -8, which is +7. So I'm going to plug it into one of these here. Let's see. Let's plug it into the first one. 7 plus 2y equals 25. Subtract 7 from both sides. 2y equals, what is that, 18? Divide by 2, divide by 2. Y equals 9. So my solution is 7, 9. Let's try it in the other equation and see if it works. -7 times 7 is -49. Plus 2 times 9 is 18. Does that equal -31? I'm asking because I'm checking it. -49 plus 18 does indeed equal -31. Now, I would pay real close attention to that problem. I'd also do the following. I'd go in and look at the PowerPoints for this week on these. I'd also go into, the video links that I've got for example problems that the lady does those problems. I'd take a look at those too. You should do really, really well on this test, and I expect you to. And if you go through these and take notes, I can almost guarantee you'll do great.